this is mine. Just leave it on me like a whole new world. I've been needing you to see it's an endless tide. You'll believe in it when you can see it.
All right, everybody, it's week 8. I mean, it's speed week. It's the last week of phase 2. We're going to be talking about the training distances I like to do. I know last week I alluded a little bit to distance intervals and that we'd be going over it at one point. And I want to start out with the standard distances I like to run. Starting off with the 5K. This one has always been a staple. It's always been something challenging. Moving on, we've got the 4 miler, an easy afternoon distance you can pump out. Then we got the 5 mile. Then we got the 10K. And I do 10K because it's double a 5K. Running 6 miles just feels like I should run 6.2. We go from 6.2 miles to 8 miles. I don't really ever bother running 7. It just kind of feels I should be running either 6.2 or 8. It just feels like a random number. 8 miles has always kind of been like, oh, Eminem 8 mile. Oh, the hour-long run. Like trying to break that time barrier was fun for a while, that kind of thing. So it stuck around as a good staple. Next up, we've got the 15K. The 9.3 mile, and I'm noticing that I never wrote 15K next to that, but I guess that's okay, next to mile, but you know what? We're gonna run with it. It's a distance that I start to bring hydration with me. Maybe next week we'll go over the long run strategies and fueling strategies, because that would be fun. 9.3 is the longest standard distance I like to incorporate in just a regular day, not a long run. Now it is week 8 and we're doing 27 miles. I have 9.3 miles as my long run. I'm trying to see what I can get my legs to do, but it's still a pretty good distance. So that's gonna be the top of the standard distances. Moving on to the types of workouts that I have found. I qualified as a workout if I'm doing multiple different segments within the run, instead of just either continuous effort or an unmoderated effort. By distance, they are organized and very structured. The first one I've marked here is an 8 by 250 meter interval sprint. So I'm doing 250 meters on and then 150 meters off 8 times with a buffer of a half mile on the start and the end. So all those red lines in the middle there are just the start times of each sprint interval. Moving on, I have what's called the mile. This is another 3 mile workout where I have a good warm up and then I have a little rest period and then I just run a mile as quickly as possible. Next up, we have the 4 mile. This is the first pyramid style workout I have. We do a quarter mile sprint, half mile sprint, 3/4 of a mile sprint, and then back down to half mile sprint and quarter mile sprint, with quarter mile rests in between each of those. So marked in red is the start point for all of those. Next up, we've got the 5 mile workouts. One is a 4 by 1200 meter interval. This is literally just a half mile warm up and then 4 3/4 of a mile sprints, followed by a quarter mile rests in between each of those, and then a half mile cool down at the end. Another 5 mile workout is called the progressive or negative splits, where I'm doing another half mile warm up, and then for each mile, no cool down between each one, I'm trying to shoot for a faster and faster mile time. So I get 4 consecutive miles where I'm trying to decrease my time by maybe 15 seconds per mile or something like that. So I'm increasing my speed, I'm decreasing my time. Then for the first time this week, I did a 6 mile pyramid workout. This one is a quarter mile warm up and then a quarter mile, half mile, 3/4 of a mile, and then mile sprint. Back down to 3/4 of a mile, half mile, and quarter mile to finish it off. The last one is the 8 mile, 6 by 1200 meter interval. It's just like the 4 by 1200 meter interval, except I have a mile warm up and cool down. In the future, I want to add a 10 mile pyramid. I haven't perfected the math on how that's going to work out, but this is what I've got so far. Lastly, of course, let's talk about long run distances and what I consider to be a standard interval. We've got the half marathon. That one's the tried and true, the classic, the daunting, the run that I am most excited to continue to PR throughout the year. Next up, we've got the 25K or 15.5 miles. We've got a couple of those under the belt already this year. That one's fun because you can think of it as 5Ks throughout the entire duration. And a 5K is a good distance. When you think about doing 5 of them back to back to back, it can be kind of daunting. Next up is 18.6 miles or 30K. So if you thought that doing 5 back to back 5Ks was bad, just throw another one on there. And let me tell you, this is my least favorite distance. For some reason, I don't either do it often enough or it seems to have gone poorly, and so I end up going into it thinking it's going to go poorly, and it's hard to shake. It's hard to really calculate what the right pace is throughout the whole thing. But we're doing one next week, so I figured let's hone it in a little bit. Next up, we do 20 miles as another long run. That one doesn't have a fancy moniker, it's just 20 miles. I just like the idea of having a double-digit number starting with 2 and then you end it. It's a considerable distance. You do 5 4-mile runs, it's 4 5-mile runs, it's 2.5 8-mile runs. It's a lot. That one's a good one. Next, finally, I don't do any long runs between 20 miles and a marathon. This is usually because when I'm done with the 20 miles, I'm going into the marathon. They say that in the marathon, 20 miles is when the race starts. You've got that 10K left, that 6.2 miles left, to just see what you have left in the tank. And so every time I'd want to do more than 20 miles, which is, I say every time, I don't think I've ever wanted to just be like, oh, yeah, let's keep going. That doesn't happen. You want to stop, don't get me wrong. But if I'm going out for more than 20 miles, I'm doing a marathon. And that is the end of it. And that's also as far as this will go. I don't believe I'll be incorporating longer long run distances into even more trainings that I will do in the future, no matter what distances, because that's just crazy. After that, you're bringing poles and you're doing off trail country stuff. Like right now I'm training for 50K, which is 10 5Ks back to 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 back. And that one's just in the woods. So I'm not expecting a good time. I'm not expecting a good pace. I'm just expecting to finish the thing and see how my body feels. But yeah, over time, we're going to add some more things to this and we're going to hone it in. I want to mention also that anything listed here is a distance interval. Any long run I do has to be 2 distance intervals away from a shorter run that I did in that week, because I'm trying to incorporate less mileage more often into my training. So this week I'm doing 9.3 miles as a long run. That's why I've also only done 3, 4, 5, and 6 miles to fill the distance, which is fun. It forces me to have my laundry more organized and have my schedule more organized, and not just bulk things for convenience of time. I really have to do things that are inconvenient more often, I feel. Next week, when we're doing the 30K, I can do a half marathon to fill some of that distance. I'm not going to do that. We're not doing enough in the week to really justify that, but I could. That's kind of the rule I've set for myself. And then that also means that if you're doing a 20-mile run, you could be doing a 25K to fill some more distance if you're going for a PR or something. By then, my body will hopefully not hate me for doing all of this. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised it doesn't yet, but there you go. That's all I really got for you. Now let's go into some footage. Anything else I want to talk about? Is there anything else? Nope. That's it. All right, let's go into the footage.
Back alley silence, moving like giants. Couldn't fall out of line even if we were trying. Sound out the sirens, this desert island is sinking faster than my memories of Chi-Town. Oh, you better fast until I get drunk.
This super duper sucks, yet I have a feeling that I'm gonna miss this.
Don't wanna pull a pretty place down. I can't get through. Is it the same for you?
Okay, that one was really good. The issue is I can't feel my index finger at all.
I guess I'm falling, done too much talking. They never told us that the world would stop revolving. So sound the sirens, this desert island is sinking faster than my memories of Chi-Town. So turn off your blinders and burn your
All right, week 8, that went really well. I PR'd the 15K just now, which feels amazing. No stops, no breaks. It was actually a good amount of incline too. Keeps things interesting. And I feel wonderful. It feels very earned. Okay, so that was good. It was lower mileage, 27 miles this week. And it's hard to believe that on week 5, that was a lot of mileage. But it was for the time. And now it feels like nothing. So this 10% rule with the speed week every 4th week is working out pretty well, I think. That was phase 2. Phase 2 was all about doing the 25K. It was all about getting through the coldest part of the winter, I suppose. And I don't want to say it's behind us because there's always that March spell, but this feels good. Everything seemed like it lined up today. I guess my parting message for this week is I'm not going to PR consistently. I can't tell you the next time I'm going to, and I can't tell you the next time you're going to either. But if you do everything in the right order all the time, eventually it'll work out. It'll be worth it. We're back in the car. Thank you, car. That was great. Give me it. Ooh. See you next week.
I can't get through. Is it the same for you?
We got a brand new pair of shoes. Glycerin GTS. That's shoe speak for more comfortable than the last ones.